This is breaking news from the White House and news from Tehran now. The White House weighing in on the Iran nuclear deal, saying the U.S. and its partners will follow through on the commitment to provide modest sanctions relief to Iran. That could be in the form of $7 billion immediately. However, some critics warn that interim deal still does not go far enough. Watch.
Here's the problem. If this is a nuclear weapon, the Iranians are parked right about here. And the current 6-month somewhat freezes them there and gives us a bit of transparency. But they're too close. What we've got to do is crank them back. They've got to deconstruct stuff.
Well, KT McFarland is a Fox News national security analyst and former deputy assistant to the Secretary of Defense during the Reagan administration. And good Monday to you, KT. You say so far, so good.
Yeah, so far, so good. But
Do we know?
This is the easy part. Okay, the easy part was that they freeze, we lift some sanctions. The hard part is yet to come, which is they roll back and we release more sanctions. The problem I have with that is we've already spent our savings account, so to speak. We've already given up our main negotiating leverage, which is those sanctions. What incentive will they have to roll back? Here's why. The reality of it is everybody's been lining up to do business with Iran. The Iranian stock market, for example, on the mere promise of sanctions being lifted, has gone up 133%. European countries and companies have already started making deals. The Russians have already said, let's trade food for oil. There's so many people lined up that once that sanction window lifts just a little bit, it's going to flood through.
You think so? So the leverage is gone, you're arguing here.
The leverage is gone.
This from the head of the Atomic Energy Organization in Tehran. Quote, the IAEA inspectors in the Natanz plant are disconnecting cascades. The sanctions iceberg against Iran is melting.
See,
that's what they wanted.
They know that. They know that once the sanctions are lifting, the iceberg is going to melt completely. Their economy will boom. It'll be the strongest economy in the Middle East. They'll be considered a de facto nuclear power by their neighbors because, as General Hayden just pointed out, they get so far, we want them to roll back. If they never roll back, the other countries in the region say, not only is Iran becoming a threshold nuclear power, but they're doing it with America's blessing. So what that does is it causes the other countries in the region to say, we need nukes of our own.
Right.
And you have a nuclear arms race.
Yeah. Are you arguing that it's already too late for Iran?
I think that window is really close. And while Congress is trying to put on additional sanctions, not now, but to say if Iran breaks the deal, if Iran doesn't go through the rollback of the sanctions, of the rollback of their nuclear program, then we will reimpose more sanctions. I think that's a terrific opportunity for the administration to say, you better deal with us and you better roll back, because if not, you got those guys in Congress. In other words, to do a good cop, bad cop. But the administration seems very reluctant.
So this is a 6-month deal, and we're going to see how it goes. What strikes me, just reading about this earlier today, if it was this easy to shut it down, it's that easy to start it back up again. It's an on-off switch.
Well, Bill, you're right. And that's exactly what the chief Iranian nuclear negotiator has said a couple of days ago. He said, we could turn that back on in 24 hours. Look, it would be good to have a deal with Iran, but the deal we want is sanctions lifted, nukes dropped. And if we don't get that deal, the problem is America will have blessed a bad deal.
Just one more thing here. You know Israel is panicked over this, their leadership, especially with Benjamin Netanyahu. And you wonder what comes next. And I can't quite figure that out.
Yeah.
You know, does Iran abide by this? Does Congress act? Or has the White House done a good enough job with Democratic senators to prevent them from acting? What do you think?
Well, the Democratic senators are reflecting the anxiety in the Middle East, because it's not just Israel who's scratching their heads thinking, is this endangering us? It's all the other traditional American allies in the region. And so, time will tell. I'm not optimistic. I think we've given up the most potent leverage we have in exchange for very little, but time will tell. Yeah. And the bad result is that Iran becomes the dominant alpha dog of the Middle East. And why do we care? Because that's where the world's oil comes from.
KT, thank you. Something to watch every
bet.
day. KT McFarland in studio.